James Wilson here with MyFitnessMap.com. Today we are going to be discussing macronutrients and how to actually hit your macros. First off, what are macronutrients? And those are your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats. Another really important factor is fiber. Fiber is really essential for cleaning out your intestines, your digestion system, and we need a certain amount of that. The absolute minimum that I would recommend for anybody would be 25 grams a day. Too much fiber can also be a bad thing, where it can block the absorption of nutrients that your body needs to run well. And a lot of that can happen because you're not drinking enough water. And while I'm on the topic of water, the minimum, again, that I would encourage is half your body weight in ounces, and that would be on a pretty relaxed day. If you're up moving around, exercising, or it's a hotter day, then you want to definitely increase that. Depending on how aggressive your exercise is, you may want to double that. While you're doing that, you're also going to want to keep your sodiums, your minerals up, because that's going to aid in healthy blood pressure and just many other things. So you need to have salts. Don't cut salts. So macronutrients, your macros, your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, each of them play a role. Carbohydrates obviously provide your energy. Proteins repair, and that's more than just muscle mass. That's your tissues. They're replenishing your tissues. Fats, they are going to aid in a long burn energy. So if you have a higher carbohydrate intake, you want to have a little bit lower fat intake, and vice versa. If you're going to do a little bit lower carb, then you want to increase fats a little bit that way. I'm a huge fan of higher carbohydrates and moderate proteins and moderate to lower fats myself. So how to go about hitting your macros? First off, you have to determine what levels you're going to have for macronutrients. I personally like to start people off with 45% of their total daily intake with carbohydrate. 25 to 30%, I tend to stick more around the 30% of total calories and proteins, and then 25% coming through fats. And there's a lot of really good ways to help figure out those. There's lots of apps like Livestrong or MyFitnessPal has a great app. And those, they have the calories, they have the macronutrients associated with the foods. So really it's just logging it and then hitting within that. And this is where a lot of people struggle with hitting their macros, is they're logging on the fly. When you're logging on the fly, you're eating a food and then you're inputting it in, it's going to be really difficult to hit your targets for the day logging that way. The best way that I have found is to get onto, say, MyFitnessPal and log everything that you plan to eat tomorrow the night before. And where this is a benefit is you can input all of your meals, meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how many ever meals you're going to consume. And then once all of those meals are in, then you go right back through that and you adjust each one of those meals. And so at the end of the day, you end up hitting those macros perfectly. And you'll hit every single time that way. And so then the next day, all you have to do is measure and eat. It's that simple. I'm one of those that I like to allow for a little bit of flexibility. 80% of the time, I want my nutrition personally to be from more micronutrient-rich foods. Your micronutrients are your vitamins and your minerals, and they're what that helps your body on a cellular level. Nobody's going to be totally perfect with their nutrition all the time. There's going to be some chocolate or some nachos or whatever your go-to foods are that you enjoy, burger and fries, pizza. The best way to be able to incorporate those into your nutrition, let's say that you're going to go out with some friends and you're going to go to get some pizza. Figure out the pizza place that you're going to go to and look at the different pizza pies and the calories associated with those slices. And then that way you already know you're going to have that for dinner. And you can go, okay, well, I'm going to have 2 slices, and 2 slices ends up being 900 calories. It's going to be 100 grams of carbohydrate, and it's going to be 45 grams of fat. So then you input that, and then you input the rest of your meals for that day around that. So if your fat gram allotment for the day is 45 grams, then you know you need to be really strict to not allow a lot of fats to come through any of your other meals, so that way you can stay on your target. I'm one of those where if you're plus or minus 5% on your macros, so if you're shooting for 45% carbohydrate, 25% on fats, if you lower that to a 40% carbohydrate and raise that to a 30% fat, I mean, be plus or minus 5%, but try to hit that caloric mark at absolute minimum, because it still is an energy balance. And I feel like that's really the best way to go about hitting your macronutrients, the easiest. Plan everything the night before, log it all in, and then all you have to do is just measure and eat, and you'll hit your macros every single time. So I hope this tip helps. Please subscribe for more tips and more help with nutrition and fitness. And let's go.